a good deed, they're not going to do that. And you don't look for them to do it, and you don't stop doing it because they do what they do. You don't do what you do because of what they do. You do what you do because this is what Allah say do. Right? And Allah is not going to give you bad news. Right? Allah can't give you, Allah could, but Allah is not going to give you. Right? Because Allah is good. Right? Allah ain't going to mislead you. And in this last period, I got a lot of stuff I'd like to say, but I'm not going to say it now. Here's what we do have to say. This is a very historical period. And the same people that should get the focus is ones getting it. The focus, they done took the focus off China, the focus is on Iran. Everybody talking about Iran. Right? No matter what happens, and it ain't new, it's been like that. No matter where you go, you turn around and it's going to wind up to be about Iran. Iran, 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 Iran. And they don't say nothing good about it. But Iranians not paying no attention. And Iranians is funny people, I tell you. The white man over here used to go to Iran, and they would say, the people in the cab, they would be complaining all the time. So all the newspaper writers would go back, they would say the cab drivers complaining about this, and then the revolution is going to crash. That's why they always say the revolution is going to crash in a week or a month or a year, because of what the people be saying. But those same people, they would be sending the best food up to the war front. They just lost a child in the war and all of that, and they was proud of it. The only place you could see it, at least I could, was on the face of the men. The martyrs, because we did a lot of programs with people who had been martyred and the people who had been martyred a year ago, 40 days ago, you know what I mean? So there's always a program. So of course I couldn't see the faces of the women, but I'd always see the parents, especially the parents and even some of the brothers of the martyr, and they all had a certain look. And I said, what am I looking at? And it was one of those contented type, you know, it's just a look. And you see it and you recognize it. That's the look that gets everybody by. And these dummies, they listen to Iranians complaining. Tell the truth, Iranians. Y'all are natural complainers. You complain about everything. Complain, complain, complain. And the white man believe you. And you sending all your good stuff up to the war front. You're doing this, you're doing that, and you're still complaining about it because all people have a characteristic. Iranians complain. They do whatever, they be at the war front shoot, and they be, man, they know, that's your sideline. Why are you over here with me? Why don't you, you know, they just complain. But they're loving people, and they kicking the white man's behind right now. Last thing, you leave them little peckerwoods like Medea, Benja, whatever her name is, and all them little pointed nose people. They ain't on your team. Now, the last thing I'm going to say is, you ought to get back on the right team. If your brother been here 75 years, you know he can squeeze out another 25, maybe. No. And never, none of that resty 75 years. I was either in the penitentiary or running from the white man or doing something, or as a Muslim. And all the last 40 or 50 years as a Muslim, you didn't see that. The rest of the years was the same thing. I ain't never had no kicking back, resting, and drinking soda pops and stuff. No. It's been challenged all the time. And that's great. So, if you want something that's already proved that it's got a chance of winning, you get with us. And do what the right man said. I'll close it. What does it say? Revolution from Egypt to the Americas. Older than the Islamic Revolution. Why are they saying that? Imam Jamil, Imam Lukman, and me, right? This is old. Look at that. Why is Imam Jamil up there? That's H. Rap Brown. You see all this stuff on the news now? They talk about Stokely Carmichael. When they talk about Loudon County, they talk about Stokely Carmichael. When you see the stuff on the news, you think the only one down there was Stokely Carmichael. You know, when we go down to Atlanta, then we go to Alabama, and all that, you know where we go? Loudon County. Do you know that sheriff's badge that Imam Jamil had? It was from Loudon County. They gave it to him. You know, when we go to a place and it's a big summer camp, like, you know, they give that belongs to the city or the county. They give that to us. That's why we be going for the big programs down in Atlanta. We get on the highway and go down to Loudon County in Alabama. Right? Who was there? Imam Jamil was there. But you watch the news, you think it was Stokely Carmichael. Right? You ever see the news? How often do you see Imam Jamil? Every now and then, he got a Band-Aid on his head or something like that. You just see Imam Jamil every now and then. They rewrite and they reshape the news. When they have John Lewis, they got SNCC. Who in that year was head of SNCC? H. Rap Brown. And they got somebody else. And John Lewis, when they busted his head at the Pettis Bridge, he didn't do that. Me recuperated that man, they knocked their brains out. Because the man, they know what they did to Dr. King, right? Why they don't translate it into modern times? Well, if that's what they did to us, then that's what they're doing to the Muslims, right? You don't say that. He's sitting up there humming. I don't know if he passed away yet, which I wouldn't want to say nothing about it. But for now, he's the dumbest man in there. I told President Obama I had an out-of-body experience. He had an out-of-brain experience. His brain left his body. You know, he done forgot all of that stuff and think because he's in Congress, because that's all he wanted. The man down there used to be the mayor. Used to be with, not the mayor, but who was with him? Who was Carter's UN? Andy Young. Andy Young. When they put Imam in jail, Imam Jamil in jail, he said, he said, I sent my daughter to their neighborhood. Remember that? His daughter, he said, go to there. He said, my daughter is in their neighborhood. But then he could come back and say, I can't do anything about it. But he's saying he thought their neighborhood was safe. That's why he had his daughter in their neighborhood. Andy Young. But they don't go down there and jump up and say, man, let the brother out of the penitentiary. Or write a letter to old Don. Say, Don, you're letting out the president of this place and that place. Why don't you let Imam Jamil out? And you said Jack Johnson was a good guy. He the one that Great White Hope. And also you can, right? They forget, man. They forget. They forget. One of the last things. Your friend saw it from Saudi Arabia. I was a little younger then. But this is a Hajj visa. Passport, picture, Hajj visa. Saudi Arabia. But they send me this after it's too late to go to Hajj. They didn't want me to go to Hajj. I think this was 88, might have been 88, something like that. But you know what? After a while, I didn't even want to go because they killed all the Iranians in '87, right? They killed all the people. And nobody said nothing. They said they had weapons, fingernails, clippers, and stuff like that. The Saudis did that at Hajj. Nobody said nothing. I know what's happening. I know that we're on the opposite team. And they have all the physical and material. But when Allah changed the history, things change. So, to be in accord with Quran and Sunnah, we don't care what they got. That's not arrogant. That's just not concerned. It's a deed property. And, I go to jail for squatting on this property. It has even my slave name here. It has the slave address, all that stuff. For Masjid, it's not. That's the deed to the property. That's the deed. And the Negroes that bust you upside the head can do anything they want. Because don't nobody come out and help or say nothing. So what we say, we don't ask nobody for help. We just don't keep doing it. We're going to wear the white man out. He's not going to wear us out. I'm just saying that. That's not arrogant. We're going to wear boss man out. Now, the last thing is you're a dear leader, right? This is the rock bar himself. What do you think, America? Now bring this back, to the custom so you can see it. What do you think? There's no Negro in world history ever been laughing and talking with the rock bar. This hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. They don't have no, right? Now, you got to just imagine, they won't fix nothing for Iran. They won't let, they got a carnivorous, what they call that, coronavirus or something. They won't do nothing about it, right? What do you think they think about the Negro? And he's right on the front page, and everybody else. Now, they don't show you, that's just one. But if you were to see all around here, this is all around. Now here we are right here. But you can see, these is white folks. See the long turbans they got hanging down? Those are Sufis. Sufis from, guess where? The Caucasus Mountains. They are original, 100% Caucasian. DNA Caucasians. They're Caucasians from the Caucasus. Remember they used to have Cascoid, Mongoloid, and Negroid, those three races? You're probably too young to remember that. But here's head of Muslims in Afghanistan. These two guys, they're both Palestinian leaders of those days, Sudanese leaders. Everybody. This goes all the way around. This is only part of the picture. But I'm telling you, what does that mean? The whole world is there, and you're participating in it. Just a regular participant and having a good time. Do you think that they want the Negro's voice to be heard? No. They tell their stooges, just give them a few pictures, but don't let them get heard. And they kidnap them. My friends in Iran was telling me, you don't have to stay out here. They have me way outside of town. No more big parties with and I said, if they want me out here, I'm going to stay out here. I'm not going to come. Yeah. You don't have to. I said, I know what I'm doing. I want everybody to do exactly what they want to do. Just like all that junk and everything. I wanted to, probably maybe break the windows and move it out in the street in a few days. But I wanted them to leave that junk right where it is. A truck full of junk. Another junky truck. Why? Because they have a voucher system. When anybody leaves us, they can leave all their junk because they give them a new voucher. New truck, you get that. New clothes, you get that. And you get points for damage. Any damage that you did, they get points for that. They get points for that. There's a car out there, and any other car out there, they help put it out there because they messed it up or pulled it loose. It don't make no difference. All of that. We've been doing that for 40 years and it haven't had no effect. Can you imagine how happy we are? I can't explain it. Last thing I'm going to say, this guy here, his name is Manager $9. In 1990 something, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. He asked me, this for you Iranian, so you know. Musa, what do you need or want? Says so-and-so, we bought him a house. They're gonna, in those days, they're gonna, kind of pay me off for being a good guy. I mean, the question, what do you want? Now, the street prayer, he told me what he got. He got a house, he got a house. Then after this, he pretended like he forgot. He told me I didn't get no house, but he got a house. Because they asked me the same, what do you want? Do you want a house, so-and-so? They told me to. I said, I don't want nothing. I didn't do this for that. I said, when I come around with a box, y'all just put whatever you can in there. You fill it up if you want. But I don't want nothing for what we did because number one, we want to keep the record straight. We don't want any crossover where you gave me something, right, for doing something. Or that they could link that and they could depreciate everything. Well, you gave him the such and such of that. So he would say that because you gave him a house, right? I said, no. I say, I raise funds. Go to this place and that place, and don't you worry, I'll be by with my box. Whatever you want to put in, you can put it in there. Okay, now imagine a short time later, they working against you. Why? Because it's your friend. It's your friend. And as the street prayers say, they don't like Walayati Faqih. The last thing I would like to say, if there's any you silly Iranians that is against Walayati Faqih, you're basically crazy. You're really crazy because that's the thing that's kept you together. Walayati Faqih, the guardianship of the just jurisprudence. Afghans fight harder and they're tougher than Iranians, but they don't have Walayati Faqih. They just don't have it. Pakistanis, one of the last physical fights I had was in Pakistan. The guy driving the buses down there, crashing our car, catch him, swing up on the Iranian who was with me. He said, this is like James Bond. To him it was exciting. And the guy, you think the Pakistanis, the ones over here may be sweetie pie, but the ones over there, bop, bop, and I'm kicking up and pulling up. And I said, these boys here, they do pretty well. I was younger then too. Hey man. So, they don't have Walayati Faqih. Nobody in the Muslim world have Walayati Faqih except you guys. That's why you're doing better. That's why Iranians are doing better than anybody in the Muslim world. They're doing better. They have their own. That's the important thing, is they have their own stuff. You don't have to buckle to nobody else. It's better to have one loaf of bread that's yours than to have 50 loaves of bread and boss man telling you when you can eat it and stuff. It's better. So anyway, we want to thank all y'all very much for listening. We're going to duplicate this, inshallah. If it don't come out good, we'll just do it the same thing again, except a little more professional. And we wish everybody well. We really do. I'm telling you, history is on your side, and it seems like Allah is on your side. Because no matter what anybody try to do to you, it makes you better. I ain't saying y'all all that good, that stuff like that. But I'm saying what the Quran said, that if you speak a word straight, I'm going to improve your behavior. Let me read it again and I'll close with it. We believe, fear Allah, always say a word directed to the straight. وَقَوْلُ قَوْلًا سَدِيدًا, a word directed to the right, a word that is proper, a word that's in place, and it speaks to the heart. Then it says that he made your conduct, that he may make your conduct whole and sound. If you do that, Allah gonna make your conduct better. You're gonna be better. Not that you're any good, none, right? But since you said the word directed to the straight, which they are, then your behavior is gonna be better. And he'll forgive you your sins, whatever. So who needs to be perfect? And whoever do that, they have already reached the Fawzul Azim, the highest achievement. I'm telling you, this is a good time. If I might just spend 1 minute on philosophy. You know, history is a long, well, it seems like a long process. It actually ain't that very long for us, you know. And if you look at us, here we are in this place. You look at the state of the world, we don't take up much. And if this world has been here 4.5 billion years, and we're not here but 80 and 90, might get lucky and make 100. That ain't nothing, right? So the only thing that's left out of all of this stuff is good deeds. That's why it says send something ahead. That means in charity or good deeds. They're the only ones, that's the only thing gonna be left. Of course, the bad ones will be there too. They be hanging around your neck. Just like the book says, they be hanging around. And but the world we're living in, why not go for it? Take a chance, that's all. Why not take a chance? A chance.